face?
Oh, I don't know. I like me cup of tea.
Where do you get tea or cocoa from with buy-up cancelled?
It's your fault.
Oh, that's bloody lovely, isn't it? Boy, don't you find out who your friends are when you're under pressure. You miserable, two-faced bitch.
Who are you calling a bitch?
Okay, forget the bitch. Miserable and two-faced. It's
look,
quite good enough.
Both of you. The freak's got in for all of us. And you're just playing right into her hands. How'd she catch on to the grog so quick, anyway?
Oh, maybe she's got someone on her payroll already.
Doubt it. She hasn't had time. Trouble with Ferguson is she's just too bloody smart by half. She may be a screw. She thinks just like one of us.
She's cleverer than us. She don't get caught.
No, that can't last. Everyone gets caught. Eventually.
Good afternoon, Wentworth Detention Centre. Yes, sir. Thursday the 28th, 9 a.m. Yes, sir. I'll let Mrs. Davidson know. Thank you. Mrs. Davidson, the department just rang to confirm that the VJ will be here the day after tomorrow. Who will I get to do that? One of the senior officers. Mrs. Morris? She's not here at the moment, but I'll see if I can find her. Do you know where Mrs. Morris is, Miss Ferguson?
Yeah, she's in H block. Why, what's going on?
Mrs. Davidson wants her to inform Smith and Latham that their hearing's been set.
Oh, well, I can do that.
Could you? That'd be terrific. I've got a dinner date and I'm running late already.
No problem.
The details are all there.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You can book it now, mate.
What are you charging me with?
You've got to be kidding, lady.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I must have just panicked.
Yeah, with good reason. That credit card was stolen, all right. There's the details.
Well, I don't understand. My friend was...
Your friend claims she's never heard of a Jean Carter. No doubt she'll confirm that in front of the magistrate tomorrow. You better get a prints, too.
Sure.
No.
Eh?
Well, I know my rights. You can't fingerprint me without my permission.
We won't need your permission once you're convicted.
Well, I haven't been convicted yet.
It's only a matter of time. Ah, forget it, Sarge. Book her and get her to the watch house.
Geez, I'm hungry.
God, how can you think of food with all that lovely grog lying around?
Wonder what O'Regan's gonna do with that cake.
Screws are probably tucking into it right this very minute.
You'll hope they choke on it.
Hey, what are you doing? You don't want to waste it?
Oh, Lizzie, we're not that desperate.
You just wait till next week. You'll be laughing on the other side of your face.
How long do you reckon this loss of privileges junk is gonna go on for?
A month? 2 months? A year?
Oh, come off it.
You don't know Davo. When she gets her teeth into something, she's like a proper little bull terrier.
Ferguson's not gonna let up either, that's for sure.
No. She'll be getting all the bones for Davo that she can find.
And Davo will lap him up just like old Stevens did up north. He thought the sun shone out of her. Hey, give me that.
What are you doing?
I'm putting us on rations. We can share this for now.
That's my fag. I want it.
You will thank me for this one day, Granny.
I'm not going to thank you for anything, you cheeky little bugger.
The women would have been searched when they left Woodridge, and they've only been back here 5 minutes. Even Lizzie's brews take longer to mature than that.
Brian probably smuggled it in with the soft drinks.
Judy wouldn't do that.
Why not?
She'd be charged with trafficking and lose her parole.
Well, maybe she didn't think of the consequences. Perhaps she didn't figure on getting caught.
She just couldn't take the risk. It means a lot to her.
So do her mates on the inside, presumably.
Well, I just don't believe she did it.
Well, that's not what Mrs. Davidson seems to think.
Oh, you've already discussed it with her.
Of course. And she seems to think that Bryant was the only one with any opportunity.
Well, how can you be sure?
Well, there's no doubt that she's guilty. We're keeping her in the city watch house tonight just in case she gets any more bright ideas about running out on us.
Are there going to be any charges against us?
Well, there's not much point, is there? I'm in a place like this. You got to expect to find a few light-fingered ladies. Can't hold you responsible for every petty thief in town, can we? Mind you, we'll need a bit of cooperation.
Such as?
Access to a room. We never finished searching it and...
You've already got a warrant for that.
True. And any further information you might have about Carter.
I've already told you everything I know.
Yeah. Well, if you think of anything, I'll be upstairs.
Driscoll House, Judy Bryant speaking.
Erica Davidson, Judy. Why weren't you at the welcome party?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Davidson. I forgot.
I see. Will you be home this evening?
Well, I'm supposed to go to a PRG meeting in about half an hour.
In that case, I'll see you in my office first thing tomorrow morning.
Oh, sure. Is something the matter?
We'll discuss it then.
Was I supposed to take that television set over to the girls?
That won't be necessary, Judy. I'll see you in my office 9 o'clock sharp.
Mrs. Davidson, have I done something wrong?
I hope not, Judy. For your sake.
Oh, morning, Mrs. Morris.
Judy, what are you doing here so early?
Mrs. Davidson wanted to see me. Look, I got this little transistor for the girls. It's not much, but it'll cheer them up.
Well, I can't give it to them right now.
That's okay. Give it to them whenever you can.
There's probably not much point.
I don't understand.
Well, the women, well, H Block anyway, have all had their privileges cancelled.
Why?
You really don't know, do you?
Well, of course not. Why should I? Hey, what's going on?
Morning, Judy.
Morning, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, I'd like you to type this memo and distribute it to the staff before the meeting this afternoon. Judy?
May I have your attention, please? I thought you'd be interested to know that Judy Bryant is currently in the governor's office, being questioned about her part in smuggling liquor into the prison.
But Jude didn't have anything to do with it.
I think she'd find that hard to prove. And I don't have to remind you how serious it'll be for Judy if she can't prove her innocence to Mrs. Davidson. I'll give you 5 minutes to think about it. I'll be at the end of the corridor if anyone wants to see me.
Poor Jude, she'll lose her parole. But she didn't do anything. How can they find her guilty if she isn't?
Oh, you've got a lot to learn, haven't you?
And
They're going to pin it on someone.
Yeah, and even if they can't prove it, they can stop her from coming back here again, can't they?
I suppose.
What are we going to do, Bee?
Shut up, a lot of you, for starters, hey? I bet it was Ferguson put this into Davo's head.
I don't believe this is happening. Why would I waste everything I've ever tried to do at the house just so the women can have a booze up? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
If you didn't bring in the contraband, who did?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose you're the one that found it, right? Yeah, that figures.
What do you mean by that?
Were there any witnesses?
Are you suggesting that Miss Ferguson had anything to do with this?
I'm not suggesting anything, Mrs. Davidson. I'm just saying it seems funny to me that Miss Ferguson always finds things that everyone else misses.
Probably, Bryant, because unlike most people in here, I do not have a trusting nature. Had I been on duty at the time, the soft drink wouldn't have got as far as it did.
Well, it wasn't searched when I was present. And that means that someone else must have planted the grog after I left.
Well, don't look at me, Bryant. I only signed on half an hour before I found them drinking, and the party was well underway by then.
You don't have to defend yourself, Miss Ferguson. Mrs. O'Regan tells me there's several people were in the kitchen all morning, which means that what you are suggesting could not have taken place without someone having seen it. As the liquor was added to the soft drink, I can only assume that this was effected before delivery. Now, could someone at the halfway house have done it perhaps as a joke?
No.
Then I must hold you entirely responsible.
Mrs. Davidson, for heaven's sakes, how many times do I have to say it?
Yes?
Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Davidson. Lizzie would like to speak to you.
Well, she'll have to wait.
I think you ought to hear what she's got to say.
What is it, Birdsworth?
About the grog.
Speak up, Birdsworth.
About the grog.
What about it?
I nicked it at Woodridge.
Oh, that's quite impossible. You were searched before you left.
Yeah, but they didn't think to search in the hot water bottles.
I just checked them. You can still smell the liquor.